Good morning and welcome to Going to Work with Gena, which is an Inspiremercial for STEM students. I am Dr. Gena Henderson. STEM students, this morning I want to talk about scores that each school received from the Florida State testing system and letting you know how well that you fared and just noticing something that's really going on around third grade, fifth grade when it comes to math, and definitely scores kind of tapering off as a student leaves fifth grade and going in to middle school. And then I noticed too at eighth grade, going into high school, there was another fall off on the scores. So this morning, what I want to do is I actually want to go to the computer and look at those scores with you and tell you why it is so important for you this summer to be doing Khan Academy to keep up your math skills, okay? And your writing skills. Remember when I was talking to Dr. Close sometimes this summer when I interviewed her, she was saying how STEM students often feel that math is very important, but also your writing skills and your communication skills are just important. So I want to just take a look at these scores and parents and see what you all think, okay? So, picking up where we left off, as you can see the scores for Seminole County public school systems, okay? You can look at the elementary, you can look at the middle school, and then they do a summary data of all schools. As you can see, my students attend Sanford Middle School, which is over here, and they received an A. But I do understand there are some middle school, that's middle school. And then I realized there are some elementary schools in our area that I live in, which is under-resourced areas, a black area, and they may not have fared so well as receiving C's. But what I do know is if there is a magnet program at that school tend to have an A or a B. Okay, when you look at high schools, Crooms High School, Ovita High School received A's. Ann Haggerty received A's. Everybody else received V's when it comes to high school. And then in the virtual world received an A. All the charter schools received an A. And Seminole's final district here is an A. Okay, so then they broke it by the number of elementary schools that received A, B's, and C's, middle schools, and then you have high schools. So the next thing I want to go into is I want to go into the district ranking. Now, when it comes to all districts throughout the state of Florida, Seminole County fared to be number 13 out of all districts. But when it came to the 17 largest districts, they were a 2 behind Collier County. But when it comes to Central Florida districts, Seminole County is the best school district, okay? So then I want to go over to grading and what I see when it comes to scores. Okay, so what they did here was just a summary and they sent it out to all parents. Now, parents, what I want you to know is that you too can receive this information. All you have to do is go in and make sure that you're tracking your student in Skyward. When you track your student in Skyward to look at their grades, they will send all of you this information. But what I do as a parent is I make sure that I go in and I look at this information. Like, for instance, right here, seems like when it comes to English language arts, students fare well through 8th grade, and then something happens in the 8th and the 9th grade. I know here there's a transition period for students as they're entering high school. And so, and then 8th grade being the top, in the top school, or they feel like they are the leaders on campus, and there's that transition going on. But then I noticed here in the 10th grade, it fares back down to be number one. Now, when it comes to math, and I'm always concerned about math, and math goes all the way here. What you can see for third and fourth grade, that we were number one in Seminole County. Now, what does that say to me? That says to me that we're number one for now, and we're doing really good here. See, this is just third through 8th grade, where there's no algebra or no geometry. This is just straight traditional math. And as you can see, when we get into 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, something is really going on here, and we need to put more concentrated efforts in middle school when it comes to math. And so I don't know. I know students go through a huge transition period for adolescence is concerned, but and then in science they fare well to be number one in 5th and 8th grade. So I just wanted to bring these scores to you, parents, and let you look at them and let you see that Seminole County is a good school district, but there are so many things that we need to work on. So I want to thank you for going to work with Gena this morning. If there's any infomercials that you missed, please don't hesitate to go to YouTube, Going to Work with Gena. Thank you. Florida State assessment scores are in. Bye.